Welcome to Stuff They Didn't Teach Me in Sunday School. I'm probably going to ruin for you a Sunday school leaflet, a Dolly Parton song, and a Broadway musical, all in about a 5-minute Stuff They Didn't Teach Me in Sunday School episode. The episode's going to focus on Joseph's coat. And you grew up learning that it was a coat of many colors. And Dolly Parton sang a country song about a coat of many colors. And there was a Broadway musical called Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I don't think it was a coat of many colors at all. The text says this in Genesis chapter 37. Joseph, being 17 years old, was shepherding the flock with his brothers. He was a lad with the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought an ill report of them to their father. Now, first off, note that line. Joseph squeals on his brothers, basically, is what that line says. Now, Israel, Jacob, loved Joseph more than any other of his children. We got another problem there, in that there's clear favoritism between Jacob and his son Joseph, probably because Joseph's mother was Rachel, Jacob's favorite wife. And he made him a long robe with sleeves. The RSV translates that, and that's probably accurate. The reality is that the problem of whether there's a coat of many colors or a coat with sleeves probably has to do with the translation, and specifically the translation in the King James Version. The King James Version used the phrase coat of many colors, and so most of our Sunday school lessons were built around that concept of the coat of many colors, and the leaflets reflect that, as does Dolly Parton's song and the Broadway musical. A better translation, and the translation that the later Bible versions use, is a coat with sleeves, and that also fits with the culture better because we know that denoted a status in society. So you take one of the youngest brothers out of this family of 12 and you give him a robe that denotes status, you treat him special, and you listen to him when he comes back and squeals on his brothers, and you've got a family problem right from the start. Verse 5, now Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they only hated him the more. Well, why would they hate him for a dream? Well, you've got to hear the dream. He said to them, hear this dream which I've dreamed. Behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves gathered round it and bowed down to my sheaf. His brothers said to him, are you indeed to reign over us? Are you indeed to have dominion over us? So they hated him the more for his dreams and for his words. Then he dreamed another dream. And he tells them this one. Behold, I have dreamed another dream. And behold, the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars were bowing down to me. But when he told it to his father and to his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, what is this dream that you've dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brothers indeed come bow ourselves to the ground before you? And his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the saying in mind. I'm a firm believer that there is only one hero in the whole Bible, and that hero is God himself. The closest you come to a person without too many flaws, too many sins that are evident in the text, is this character of Joseph in the Old Testament. And yet I would argue that he is a snot-nosed little brother to these big brothers, and he is in your face with these dreams. He doesn't need to tell them the dreams. He doesn't need to wear this robe that his dad made for him to designate his status. He doesn't need to parade that around in front of his brothers. But that's exactly what he does. He's very in your face with those brothers, and he's the little brother. I didn't have any little brothers. I had little sisters, but I know they could be irritating at sometimes, and I love them dearly today. And I'm sure little brothers could be irritating. Most big brothers do not go to the extent that these big brothers did, but they'd had it with Joseph. They're ready to kill him. What they finally do is throw him into a pit, and when some traders come by, they sell him off and wave goodbye to the brother that was making life miserable for him. And then they go back and lie to their dad and convince their dad that Joseph is dead. God had plans. Even using these brothers who mistreat their brother, even using Joseph who was way out of line in the way he deals with his brothers, God had a plan. And he was going to use this plan to save his nation. We'll look at that next time on Stuff They Didn't Teach Me in Sunday School.